The Bears seem desperate for an offensive coach because they got this quarterback, Caleb Williams, and it's not working so well. I mean, he's lost 9 in a row. It's not great. Still, his numbers are okay. And they might be desperate enough to fork over a couple of first-round picks for Kyle, thinking that he could solve all of their problems and make them a modern football team for the first time ever. If the Bears called the Niners and offered 2 firsts, would you say the Niners should take it?
Do I think they should? Absolutely. Do I think they will? No, I don't think they will. I don't think Jed would take
should. Here's the thing. If he's lost the locker room, they almost have to fire him. So if they could get 2 first-round picks and while concealing the fact that he's lost the locker room, I don't know that he has, but there are maybe indicators. Maybe it's all circumstantial evidence here, but the Greenlaw thing yesterday. Everyone knows Greenlaw's like an emotional leader on this team. Everyone knows he's been going through hell to come back. He comes back to try to save the season. They lose. He gets hurt again, has an incredible performance. Then they put him out again in a game that doesn't matter, and he gets hurt. And it could be his Achilles. We'll find out in about an hour. It's his calf, which is connected. So that's Fred Warner's brother, right? Like they talk. I mean, they've gone through battles together. Like they're going to be friends forever. You heard both Bosa and Warner after the game say we got to protect Dre from himself. It sounded like they talked about it. They had the same phrasing, and that seems like it finally dawned on them. Like, Kyle's not going to protect any of us.
Yeah.
He's going to run all of us into the ground. He did it to Dre. He did it to McCaffrey. He did it to Elijah Mitchell. He did it. I mean, he just does it. He keeps doing it. And it doesn't matter if you're Dre Greenlaw, who made all these freaking plays the last 5 years and is coming back from this brutal injury. Like, sorry, buddy, go in there and help Kyle Shanahan's legacy. Like, if that's what what players are starting to look at him like, then he's got to go to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, if the Bears did it, I would jump on it, but I don't.
Bears got to initiate the call, right? They got to call the Niners.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jed would accept it. Honestly, I don't know. It seems like Jed might.
I think he's scared is in his ability to replace Kyle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Is like he's probably thinking, look how much money I've made over the last 8 years. Do I really want to put that at risk? I think if he starts seeing it on his bottom line, which would mean another year, next year, of not making the playoffs, then that's when it's going to be pretty much a done deal at that point.
Here's the thing, though. If you wait until next year and they have another losing season, and then it's like, all right, we're out. Well, you're not getting 2 first-round picks from him at that point because everyone else is going to have a different opinion of Kyle at that point. It's like the Debo situation.
Yeah.
If you want to bring him back one more year to really learn what you think you don't know yet, fine. But if it's bad, you missed your opportunity to get a lot. And now you're possibly firing the guy or trading him for whatever, God knows what. It's the same as the Debo situation. So if you think he really could bounce back next year, then yeah, keep him. Mm-hmm. But if you think he's lost the locker room and his offense isn't hitting like he used to, and he really doesn't bring much to the team anymore, in fact, he's part of the problem, then that's your secret, and you got to trade him before the rest of the league figures it out, because they could figure it out in the next, 12 months or less.
Let's say he lost some of these older players.
Yep.
A way to get him to move on from that problem.
Trade him.
Get rid of the players.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another way. Like they could.
You know what I'm saying? Well, why don't we go through some of these players and talk about who should stay or who should go? Before we do, let's hit some super chats.
Yeah.
Matt McEwen says most of the Purdy cult comes from Jimmy Stans. I think there is a definite overlap in the Venn diagrams, but there is something very unique about the Purdy group. It's people that really are. I'm not trying to be condescending here. Like that really like the humble part of his story. He was the last pick.
Yeah.
He's the last pick. He shops at Kohl's. He has a roommate. He's not motivated by money and material things. It's like, yeah, okay, that's a real fantasy. That's like the throwback of I like athletes before free agency, that kind of stuff. Like, that's not him.
I think I'm pretty cautious with quarterbacks because of the history of this organization. Like, we thought Cap was that guy. Then it turned out he wasn't that guy. We thought Jimmy might have been that guy. Then we found out he's not that guy. And now people are going through it with Brock again. And that's kind of why I was a little cautious, like really analyzing Brock, like really giving in to Brock. Like, is this really that guy? Because I've been through it. And I think a lot of fans just want to have that guy. And I think they're unwilling to accept when they realize that he's not.
Also, how many major extensions have the Niners given out to guys they drafted? Like, how many of those extensions went to people who were able to maintain their level of excellence after the extension? How many guys could do it on this team?
Kittle, Trent Williams, and Kittle. That's
maybe Warner. I can think of. 3.
Warner, Triddle. Yep. Yeah.
Of like mega extensions, not Bosa. No, and even Trent Williams, like he did the first time, but then he got another extension this year. Now it's like, yeah,
I mean, that's just like you're doing it at an old age. He's going through a lot personally, but I would count Trent because of the first extension.
Yeah.
And then, Kittle, Warner, but not a ton.
Not a ton.
Guys.
Yeah. Matt McEwen says most pressure this year for his contract chokes, most pressure in a game to win it chokes, anti-clutch Purdy. Yeah. His quarterback, in the second half this year, Purdy's got 7 touchdown passes and 8 picks in the second half of games. It's not great. That's the kind of thing you'd associate with like Jared Goff or something. Big Tim 3 says Brock is a professional quarterback. The good things he does is what's expected. No it factor to him. Makes no one better. What was the best throw he made against the?
See, I was thinking about this all night long. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's doing great." Like, not. I think he had 1 pass completed at 21 yards. Nothing
to
really
deep.
Yeah, and then the only real good pass I think he had was that it was the same pass he got intercepted on, but earlier. I think it was in the second quarter. He layer throw against zone, that that in route that they always do. Yeah, I think that was his best throw in the entire game, and even that wasn't like. Wow, there was no wow factor to Brock. And something too, like real quick, I want to share is Brock's first year, he was 33 in big time throws over 20 yards. He was 33rd in the NFL in big time throws over 20 yards. That's why I called him Dink and Dunk. Last year, he figured it out with Brandon Ayuk, and he was 10th. This year, he's 38th in big time throws over 20 yards. So he's worse than his rookie year at taking the top off and making those big time D throws. So he's back to how he was as a rookie.
Yikes. Matt McEwen says other teams' fans want us to pay Purdy the bag more than our fans. That is true. Yeah. Gold Tao says prorate contract for wet weather games, great opposing defenses, and no offensive player of the year in backfield games. Pretty much. Daza0187 says sounds like front office have made up their minds. But how can you pay Brock Purdy more than Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Stafford? Watch the games. He's not on that level. Agree. Richard Evangelista says, so what if Purdy does become elite? He just blossomed late.
The thing, like how it's got to be all mental for Brock. He doesn't have the physical attributes to be elite. We know that now, right? He does not have the arm talent to be elite.
Right.
He's not running through guys like Josh Allen, or he's not Lamar Jackson. So he doesn't have the running ability of an elite quarterback or the arm of an elite quarterback. So it's got to come from his mind. He has to be the best processor that the league has seen in years to become elite. And he hasn't shown any signs of that this year. So I don't think so.
Yeah, and we're seeing like reclamation projects and late blooming quarterbacks this year for sure. But these are guys who were like number 1 picks, top 3 picks. In Gino's case, a second round pick, guys that had physical traits that couldn't put it together or were given up on too early. So what if Purdy does become elite? Got you. Official Beta Music 88 says, is Barty going to stream from your house next? He started streaming from the coach's box.
Yeah.
In his defense, they don't let you like film on the field in Miami for whatever reason. But also, like, he stole everything I ever did. Dazza says Niners need a new DC special teams coach. Kyle offense figured out. Need half a new defense new O-line, and we're going to pay a fringe top 10 quarterback $60 million a year, but we're going to be great next year, exclamation point. Pretty much. Don't question it. David Baker says, all I want for Christmas is a new head coach. Come on, Chicago. And an improved O-line, says David Baker. Yeah. Mike Drops with Monza said this 2 years ago. Elevate Peter's full roster authority and can fire head coach. Jed needs to insulate himself from bad decisions. He screwed himself at the mercy of Kyle and Brock's contract, a rock and hard place. I just don't see how you could let Kyle Shanahan make another decision on a big contract after he gave out the one to Ayuk and McCaffrey and Trent. It's like,
Let me ask you a question, Grant. Would you rather take a flyer on a new quarterback and keep Kyle, or take a flyer on a new coach and keep Brock?
The second one. Even though keeping Brock is scary because he might be a backup quarterback like Jimmy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd start over with both. Mark MC says, I'm watching on TV. Brock is shaking out his arm before game starts and the whole game. Do you not see this being close up, Grant? Ask Brock straight question. Is your arm 100%?
You know, he was asked last week, and it was the most.
It's good.
It was the horror. It was the worst way to say my arm. If someone asked me, Ryan, are you 100%? Yeah, I'm good. That's the answer. Not Brock talked for like 30 seconds of saying, yeah, I'm good. Like, no.
Which means I'm not good.
Yeah.
Mike Drops with Monza says Brock wouldn't fetch a second on the trade market. Maybe not. Bill Kennedy says Lombardi thinks Brock should get $100 million per season. B Cruising 302 says some media, not you guys, are so caught up with numbers, analytics, when you can just look up and see the product in front of you. Not elite. Brock Purdy.